Well, hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We're excited to be talking to our partners in Oregon about what's new and exciting in that destination. ATI has partnered with Travel Oregon and some of their destination partners in and around Portland on the coast to create a tour that will be featured on AmericanTours.com and that you'll be able to book and customize as part of our Drive America platform. So I wanted to introduce the participants on our call today, all joining us from Oregon. I'm here in sunny Los Angeles, as you can see, but hankering to go visit Oregon as soon as I can get out of the city. So first, I'd like to introduce Greg from Eckert from Travel Oregon.
Good morning, everybody.
Thanks, Greg, for joining us, and thanks for putting this together with our destination and supplier partners who are part of the tour that we've created. Aaron Leiserman from Oregon's Mount Hood territory, thank you for participating. Todd Roll, who's actually joining us, I think, from Sweet Home, Oregon, and he'll share a little bit about that, as well as the pedal bike tour company that we are working with in Portland. And Wendy Popkin, who is from the Washington County Visitors Association and represents the Tualatin Valley, which is also part of our tour that we've created. So I guess I'd like to get started, Greg, with you, since you helped put together this itinerary and the overall partnership. What is new and exciting to share with our travel advisors who are joining us today about Oregon and about some of the destinations that we're partnering with, some of the features of the tour that we've put together?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Nick. We're first of all, we're really excited to have this program with ATI in particular. Oregon and Portland, the Portland region, haven't really ever had a focused program that just dives into the Portland area and all of the aspects that it has to offer, specifically utilizing guided experiences like Todd's company, Pedal Bike Tours, but a number of other companies as well. That's probably the most exciting thing for us is we understand and we know that when your clients and our guests visit Oregon and experience the destination with a guide, tour operator or outfitter, they have a deeper connection to the destination and in return have a better customer experience and really get to understand what make Portland and Oregon tick and what they can connect to that way. I'd say a lot of new things to offer, definitely, but really kind of taking that deeper look and kind of deeper connected experience is what we're focused on and what we're so excited about. Again, in particular, focusing on the Portland region, but also showcasing some of the Willamette Valley and the Oregon coast as well, and highlighting just a little sample of what Oregon has to offer through this multi-day self-drive program.
Todd, your company is obviously at the forefront of guided, escorted biking experiences in the Portland area. You want to tell us a little bit about what our customers can expect when they're booking a pedal bike tour with you, or with ATI, I should say?
Okay, so what we offer is easy, safe, and fun bike rides around Portland, introducing people to the wonderful things that we have in Portland, some of the history, definitely the bikeability, and all of the reasons that people would come to Portland, which is the food, the beer, the wine, and the wonderful neighborhoods. So we just show people around using the bicycle, which is, in my opinion, the best way to see a city.
Yeah, I would agree. In my experience, loving biking around, and also it does allow you to do a little bit of the beer and wine tasting, not too much though, right? And some more eating, I guess.
I mean, not necessarily on the tour. Really, what I see our job as is introducing people to all of the different experiences that they could have in Portland. And so really it's what we offer is a sightseeing tour of and kind of an overview of all the things to see in Portland. So I always tell people it's the best thing to do when you first get to town, because we're going to give you 1,000 different ideas on things to do while you're here.
How long are the tours, Todd?
Typically, our typical tour is about 3 hours, and we ride about 8 to 10 miles and see at least 40 to 50 different sites.
And what's the level of like strenuousness? Is it pretty accessible?
It's extremely accessible. One of my mottos is no spandex required. We orient ourselves towards novice cyclists.
Okay.
Uh, I get people who haven't ridden a bike in 40 years. They're very worried about riding a bike. And I always tell them that they may start the bike tour as a novice, but they'll end up as an intermediate rider. Everybody
Good.
improves while they're on the tour, and typically, I mean, I have people, ask what the brand and the model of the bike is, and they go home and buy their own bike after our tour.
Oh, that's great. So they also, in addition to sightseeing and learning about the Portland area, they're also becoming skilled at biking. Good. So
I
thanks,
don't
Todd.
really advertise that, but that's really the part of the point of my company is to show people how easy, safe, and fun it can be to ride a bicycle to explore a city. And over the 13 years we've been in business, I got to tell you, all the places that people come from, which is typically the big cities around this country, they've all gotten much more bike friendly. So.
Yeah, definitely. We're seeing that in LA. And I know that Portland was kind of at the forefront of that, right? With bike lanes and making sure that it's real safe, I guess, is the best way to put it. And I guess faster as well, right? You can travel faster with bike in some of the cities that have been at the forefront of creating those lanes.
Well, certainly compared to walking, biking is hands down better. And one thing I say is that compared to being on a bus, tour bus, for example, nothing against tour buses if anybody else is on the call from a tour company. But the bicycle really affords you the opportunity to stop anytime you want. You're going slow enough to really see things. You don't have to worry about wrecking the car if you take your eyes off the road. And you really get an up close and personal look at everything.
Yeah. Well, I think that we could use it for some of our customers that are on an escorted tour, on a multi-day escorted tour, going through Portland, and also being able to get off and experience the city with the bike tour. So I think that they're not mutually exclusive, actually. So thank you, Todd. Really happy that you're able to share about the company, and we're really thrilled to include the experience in the tour that we've put together, that we're featuring today and throughout the campaign. So Aaron, what about Oregon's Mount Hood territory, about going on to Mount Hood itself, hiking? I think whenever I think about hiking a significant, I guess, mountain like that, I would think you really should have a guide with you. I know, unless you're quite a skilled, I guess, climber or mountaineer. What do you offer? What does the destination offer in terms of guided experiences of the mountain itself and of the surrounding area?
Yeah, so yeah, I think if you were referring to actually hiking to the summit of Mount Hood, although it is the second most hiked mountain in the world, you definitely want to go with a guide. It is the second most hiked mountain because it is a lot easier. It's not as technical of a climb. But that being said, people that don't want to necessarily do mountaineering and just want to hike and be in old growth forest, and hike in the Pacific Northwest, which, for people that have hiked around the world or even around the United States, these trails are, well marked. They're easy paths to see, very difficult to get lost. But again, for people that aren't really comfortable doing it on their own, there are plenty of guided outfitters that do different guided tours that take people out. Mount Hood Outfitters, located in Government Camp, which is actually up on Mount Hood. It's the alpine town. We're kind of at the base. They're located there, and they do year-round tours. So if you want to do a guided hiking tour with them in the summertime, you can. If you want to do a snowshoe tour with them in the wintertime, they offer that as well. So again, a lot of different options. And again, then even on our website at mounthoodterritory.com, there's different trails guides that we have that you can download that are kind of weighted more towards your beginner to intermediate hiker, not necessarily your high-end experienced hiker. So yeah, a lot of different opportunities. There's over 1,600 kilometers of hiking trails in Mount Hood territory, and it's only about an hour to an hour and a half drive to get up to the mountain from downtown Portland. So very close by. People call it Portland's backyard. That's why people live in this area. It's access, to the outdoors as Todd calls us, from a camping trip that he's on right now. So yeah, a lot of different outdoor experiences.
Great. Yeah, thank you for sharing. When I think about our customers, I'm guessing most when it comes to hiking are going to be that like beginner to intermediary. We'll probably have a small number that are advanced and probably hiking to the summit of Mount Hood. So it's good to know that there's a lot of options. Either you can do it yourself or go with a guided tour of the, I guess, not necessarily to the summit, but around some of the forest areas, as you pointed out. So thanks, Aaron. And what about, Wendy, what about in Washington County and Tualatin Valley in terms of guided experiences? What would you recommend if you're going to want to experience it with a local expert?
Yeah, one of the things that is a big attribute in Washington County and Tualatin Valley is that we are set our urban conveniences, but we're set in the rural countryside. And so what that means is when one of our guests stays at the Hyatt House, which is the chosen hotel on this itinerary, you're within 6 miles of a winery, Cooper Mountain Winery, which is one of the first wineries in the state and one of the first to be biodynamic and sustainably certified. So America's Hub World Travel has a winery tour that includes many of our wineries, and that's a great way to obviously not drink and drive, relax, see the countryside, and take advantage of that. Wineries are also very accessible to individuals on fly drive packages, and many take reservations. We're actually working with ATI to develop some more product in that regard. So soon there'll be more bookable product in that way as well.
Great. Yeah, that's part of the whole campaign and creating this tour, and then making sure that there's product that our travel advisors can add to the different various components when they're making changes to the destination, or they're adding nights, or they're wanting to add an activity that's not necessarily included in the preset package. So we're definitely going to walk through some of that of how they can do that on the Drive America platform. So thanks for sharing. Maybe going back to you, Wendy, about what's kind of new and interesting and exciting, and what are you seeing in terms of visitors, what they're coming to Tualatin Valley to really experience now, coming out now that I guess we're out of the pandemic, or we've been out for some time. I don't know. We don't know. But travel of all sorts is obviously happening. And what are you seeing in terms of what visitors to your area are wanting to experience, and any recommendations you have beyond the wineries?
Sure. Well, I'll tell you that I grew up on the west side, and it was a great place to grow up, very suburban, lots of modern conveniences and things, as I mentioned, but not a place that visitors would really come. If you lived in Portland, you wouldn't really go to the west side. And now, flash forward, I've been at this job for 6 months, and I'm constantly discovering new things. And one of the things that's really unique about our area is that our county is the most culturally diverse in the state. And so what that means is that we have an amazing array of, global cuisine that's family owned, not chain kind of restaurants. We have a lot of festivals and events. We have a 60-year-old Polynesian festival that happens. Our Latino our Latino festival, 16th year, it outgrew all of our indoor facilities, and it had to be at our outdoor stadium this year. So, just the dining scene has really exploded because of that. Where I work, I'm within walking distance to everything from Puerto Rican food to an Italian restaurant to Lebanese. There's a great hot pot place. The food carts are there. It's just like the food in particular is a real draw. The culture is a real draw. And then, as I said, you have these modern conveniences, but you're within 6 miles of the urban growth boundary. So there's all these pick farms and wineries. We have alpaca experiences and things like that. Cool. So it's that kind of variety that I'm really pumped about, and I think our visitors are really surprised and delighted with.
Yeah, it sounds fabulous. Aaron, what about in Mount Hood territory? What would you recommend as kind of new experiences you're seeing that visitors come and experience for the first time in recent months?
I would say, well, right now we're kind of getting into, tapering off of spring and summer. We're getting into that whitewater rafting and kayaking season. And so a lot of people, Highway 224, which is just south of Mount Hood, there were some fires during COVID that just ravaged that entire area. the highway was shut down for a couple years. Well, it's just reopened May 1st, and it's open to guided outfitters. And so to be able just to take either a scenic drive or book one of these tours with a guided outfitter on the Clackamas River, really great whitewater rafting, class 2, class 3 rapids, so nothing crazy, but enough to have a really good time. And you're actually getting to see this forest that was burned. But one thing that people didn't realize is that the trees were actually covering up all these beautiful waterfalls that feed into the Clackamas River down on this. And so people are noticing. That's the one thing I hear from visitors that are now doing, and this visitors and locals alike that want to kind of see that corridor after the fires and see kind of how it's regrowing, is everyone says, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how many waterfalls were there. Like it was, so it's amazing to kind of see, things that were hidden before, and the forest is going to grow back, but the river is allowing guided outfitters to actually run tours on there. And I believe Oregon River Experiences is one of the ones booked with ATI's product.
Great.
That are offering day tours, half day and full day tours there. Another thing I'd say, for especially if someone who's visiting maybe Mount Hood for the first time and they're doing a fly drive itinerary, is stop in those small towns along the way up that Highway 26 corridor to get up to Mount Hood. There's really small towns like Welch's, Zigzag, Rhododendron, right at the base of the mountain as you go up. And there's a lot of hidden gems there as far as places to eat. One of my favorite barbecue places in the Pacific Northwest is Skyway Bar and Grill right off of 26. And I grew up in Texas, so I've got a pretty high bar for barbecue as far as what's good and what's not. But yeah, a lot of really cool places. Some of the best coffee at Mountain Hood Roasters going up the hill, and it's a blink if you miss it. Drive by a little shed that roasts their own coffee. But just some really cool kind of local experiences that you might just pass by if you're kind of anxious just to get up to the mountain. So I would definitely say stop in, get a coffee, maybe have some breakfast, grab some lunch at some of these small little areas and towns along the way up to Mount Hood, because it's definitely worth it. And again, it's a lot of things that really only locals know about. So.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing that. And when do the whitewater rafting, does that go into later into the fall, or what's the season for that?
So usually the season for whitewater rafting starts in spring, and that's when the water levels are pretty high. And then it goes on into summertime. Summertime, it just depends on kind of how the water is. If we had a really rainy season like we had now, it's probably going to extend a little bit later into the summer.
Okay.
But usually spring and summer are the two times to do your whitewater rafting trips.
All right. And then Todd, what about in the Portland area? What are you seeing, biking around? I know that you're sharing kind of the essentials of Portland, but also what are you seeing that's kind of new and that your customers are really gravitating towards?
Yeah, so we are located in the center, the heart of the urban city center, and so you're really getting that city experience. So first of all, it's really just the reawakening of the city after the last couple of tough years. So it's really gratifying to see the city reawakening. We've got people coming, the locals are coming back downtown to their jobs. And so that brings a lot of new vitality to everything from just people on the streets to the restaurants are reopening and getting busier and extending their hours and their days of operation. So really the city is just reawakening, and that in itself is new and very gratifying to see. Very close to us is the Saturday market, which has reopened for the season back in March. And so that brings thousands of people every Saturday right in front of our shop.
Is that like a farmer's market, the Saturday market?
Well, the farmer's market's year round. The Saturday market is the artisan craft market.
Artisan market, yeah.
And then just being in this city, it's just a constant change of new restaurants opening, new shops opening. The food cart scene is absolutely exploding, and it is now expanding to neighborhoods all around the city. And so, on our normal tour route, we may come across a new food cart that just opened, or a new food cart pod that just opened. We may come across a new restaurant that just opened, or a new shop that just opened. So it's really just a constant change. Just last Sunday, we had the Pride Festival. Thousands of people, and I'll tell you, the best people watching you could ever ask for.
I bet.
Waterfront, all the festivals are back now, so every couple of weeks, there's a new festival down on the waterfront. So lots of new things to see and do for people.
Great, thank you for sharing the updates about Portland. It's such a cool city, and going by bike, I think, as you mentioned, to experience the essential portions of it, and then maybe a deeper dive afterwards, just sounds like the best way. And it is included in our tour, the pedal bike tour of the city, and that's one of the inclusions. And then you can add some of the components that Aaron and Wendy were talking about that ATI is contracted to the tour through the platform. So that's really important to note. And we're going to get a little walkthrough of how you do that after this. Greg, we are talking, I think, a lot about the greater Portland area, the Tri-County area, but there are other components to the tour, and maybe you can speak to some of those areas, what's new in those areas, since our destination partners from there specifically aren't joining us today, but I know that you have great familiarity with the other portions of the tour outside of the Portland area.
Yeah, I'll probably touch on Portland a little bit too, just because we have so much, as Todd mentioned, with a lot of new culinary opportunities coming into play. Amatera is a new winery that's in the West Hills of Portland that's got like a really chef-driven tasting menu, but also in the Willamette Valley Vineyards, Soder Vineyards, Danson Vineyards, and another one called Bella Fiore. They have these really intensive kind of elevated food programs in the valley, which is just exciting to see. Yes, the Willamette Valley is famous for Pinot Noir, and it's great to be able to experience that, as Wendy mentioned, with someone like America's Hub World Tours. Best way to see that. But it's fun to see those wineries really kind of elevating their experience with the food and culinary programs they have. On the coast, also seeing some just amazing activities. There's a new tour that's a self-guided walking tour in Astoria called Untold Uniontown. It's offered by a partner called Go Wild Adventures, which runs throughout Oregon, but primarily in Eastern Oregon. So that's an interesting opportunity for guests. Again, also on the coast, Todd mentioned that he's camping at one of our amazing state parks. Oregon's state park system turns 100 years old this year. We're incredibly proud of that system, just because it's such an excellent experience, especially for visitors that may not have a huge comfort level with wanting to spend time in the outdoors. I feel like our state parks really bridge that gap for visitors that may not have a huge comfort level with camping or just recreating in the outdoors. They really provide that. So we're incredibly proud of that. Again, kind of going back to Portland, Todd mentioned the food carts, but there's like, we have a variety of things from around the world, as Wendy mentioned. Afuri, which is a Japanese ramen restaurant, which is based in Japan, is opening tomorrow. A new restaurant called Tanaka, which focuses on Japanese baked goods, shokupan, katsu sandwiches, different pastries, mochi donuts. There's also a new ice cream shop in Portland. Everyone's familiar with Salt and Straw. It's an amazing ice cream place, but there's a new one called Nico's, and Nico's uses real fruit in their ice cream, and most of that fruit comes directly from the Willamette Valley, which is a location also featured in this itinerary. So there's, I love to eat. Obviously, I've cycled with Todd. I love to do that too, but the culinary experiences that our state has to offer, particularly I think with this program, are top notch.
Yeah, you're making me hungry. So I know, and that is a part of, obviously, a lot of what I guess the flexibility of a fly drive tour, right? We don't necessarily include, unless it's like a wine tour, the culinary experiences or food tour, but those amazing either fancy restaurants or food carts, the range between the two, everything in between in Portland and outside of Portland sounds fabulous. I know our customers will be, I think, really interested to experience that. And thank you for all the recommendations, Greg, Wendy, Aaron, Todd. Really appreciate the time today to talk about the respective destinations, what's new, why guided experiences are so important, and why our advisors joining us today should book with ATI in order to get the package, be able to make it what they want, the flexibility of booking it in the way that they want, adding some experiences that we contract. All of that is why we're partnering with Travel Oregon and the respective destinations to showcase, this Drive America experience, and to inspire travel advisors to really, book something that is a combination, I think, of the great outdoors, the food experiences, the urban, the suburban, and kind of the I guess edge on rural as well in Tualatin Valley. That's what's so cool about that destination. It's so close, but also kind of the country as well. So thank you all again. I really appreciate the time. Todd, thank you for joining us from camping, right? And I see the dog in the background. So I hope he enjoyed the time today. Get him out of the car to run around, huh? But thank you all.
Go. We're now logged in on the homepage www.americantours.com. First up, we will go over to the Drive America tab. And here we'll select the start city of the tour that you would like to book. In our case today, we're going over to Portland, Oregon. To book the extraordinary Oregon tour, we check the availability first by adding the start date that we would like. Let's go for the 9th of October. And if you need to change the amount of rooms you would like to book or the passenger configuration, you can change this here. Use the Save button and go ahead and check it. This will allow our system to look for live rates and availability for the tour. We'll see the overview with the price on the top and the dates, followed by the details and the pre-selected hotels on the right side. You can either go ahead and change any of the hotels right here with the blue Change Hotel button, or you can click on the Customize Tour button here. This will allow our system to open the modification page where you can add additional hotels, the attractions, change any of the destinations, and much more. You'll see first up the overview again with the total price. Here we included the digital destination and route guide that will be sent to you 30 days prior departure and includes, next to the always included downloadable vouchers and hotel list, also the routes and maps for the entire tour, including additional destination information as well. Then next up, you'll see the overview of all the destinations for the tour, and then the hotels and activities that are in the itinerary. You can change the hotel by using the Change Stay button here. This will allow you to select a different hotel. You can also change the duration and the dates here. On the left side, you'll also have helpful filters to narrow down your search results. If you would like to see the details of any of the additional or different hotels, you would then go ahead and click the View Details button. You'll see all the different room types that are available. And if you would like to change that out, you go ahead with the Select button here. This will automatically update the pricing on top, and you'll see the new hotel reflected here. You'll see next up the Historic Downtown Tour, and we would like to add additional activities here. You can add as many activities as you like per day. So let's go ahead and add a second tour here. And the same for any of the other destinations too. Our system will automatically default to the day that they're staying there, but you can change the stay and the date as well of that. If you like to remove any of the activities, simply use the remove button, and the pricing will be updated automatically again. If you would like to add any destination in between, let's say here on our drive from Portland over to the coast, we would like to add an additional stay. You would go to your itinerary and use the green add button in between. In this case, let's add another stay at the coast. Our system will automatically ensure that you're on track with the dates. You can change the duration here and make a search for all of the available hotels. With the view details button again, you'll see all the different room types you can select, and would go with the select button ahead to add it. Our system will automatically alert you that now by adding a night that your itinerary will be shifted. So I recommend to say yes here. So our system will automatically adjust all of the hotels that come afterwards to ensure you have one continuous stay. Same if you like to remove anything on the stays, you'll use the remove button and our system will alert you that there will be the dates adjusted. Now, by doing this change, you'll see the additional destination added on the map here and reflected as the new hotel right here in Lincoln City. An additional really helpful button in case your clients would like to change the routing and drive the other way around, you can also use the reverse button here, and you can print your itinerary to extract and send to your clients. Don't forget to use the save button on top to make sure all of the changes you made are being saved on the website. You can save it under any name that is relevant to you. From here, you can then either proceed to cart, save your quote, or go ahead and book. And if you'd like to come back to your tour at a later point, you will go back to the Drive America tab and click over on the left on My Custom Tours. This will then show all of the customized tours that you previously saved. You can enter it again by clicking on the tour, or this will also allow you here to build your own very new tour from scratch. These are all the functions you have to book the tour. And I would like to point out as well our contacts over here on the agent portal section. If you have any questions to the products or packages, please contact us at sales@americantours.com. In case you haven't signed up yet for your account, please go to signup.americantours.com to create your account and log in with us.